New York City. The place where dreams are born, and sometimes, where they die. The night sky glowed with neon lights, painting the streets below in shades of gold, blue, and crimson. Taxi horns blared, footsteps echoed on wet pavement, and people rushed in every direction like restless shadows. The city never stopped. The city never slowed. And in that endless rush, millions of lives blurred together, silent, tired, and almost mechanical. They all looked the same. Gray suits. Phones glued to their ears. Faces blank, shoulders heavy. Men and women running the same race, trapped in the same cycle: work, sleep, repeat. It was as if the city had swallowed their individuality whole, spitting out replicas who existed, but never truly lived. And yet, in the middle of this rhythm, one man decided to stop running. His name was Alex Carter. Alex stood on the Brooklyn Bridge, the cold night wind whipping against his face. In his hand was a crumpled resignation letter, the ink smudged from the tight grip of his fist. His shoulders were tense, his jaw clenched, his heart pounding loud enough to drown out the noise of the city around him. Thump. 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 In a 2D comic panel, it would be drawn as bold sound effects echoing across the page, surrounding Alex's determined eyes. His gaze wasn't on the rushing cars below, nor on the skyscrapers glowing in the distance. Were fixed on something greater, the idea of freedom. For years, Alex had been told to play it safe. Don't stand out. Follow the rules. Stay in line. Teachers had told him. Employers had demanded it. Even his family had begged him to choose the secure path. And he listened, for a while. He wore the same gray suits, sat in the same cubicles, answered the same emails. But every morning he woke up feeling less alive, as though his soul was being buried one routine at a time. New York was supposed to be the city of dreams, yet Alex realized he wasn't living his dream at all. He was trapped in someone else's design, another nameless shadow in a city overflowing with them. That night, on the Brooklyn Bridge, something shifted. Alex unfolded the letter and stared at it under the flickering streetlight. The words on the page, "I resign," looked like a prison break, like the first crack in the wall that had caged him for years. He took a deep breath, the cold air cutting his lungs, and for the first time, he felt something that had been missing for years. Courage. They'll call me reckless, he whispered to himself. They'll laugh. They'll say I've lost my mind. The wind carried his words away into the city night. But I'm not chasing money, he continued, his voice firm now. I'm chasing freedom. In the comic book version of this moment, Alex would be drawn in a wide panel, the city skyline stretching behind him in sharp, bold strokes. The crumpled letter would fly out of his hand like a bird breaking free, carried by the wind into the glowing abyss of New York's night. His figure would stand tall, silhouetted against the lights, no longer just another shadow, but the start of something different. And in that moment, Alex made a choice, the kind of choice that tears a person from the ordinary and throws them into the unknown. The kind of choice that seems small at first, just quitting a job, but ripples outward until it changes everything. His heartbeat slowed, not because the fear was gone, but because the fear no longer controlled him. Narrator's voice, in bold, cinematic tone. And that choice would change not just his life, but the streets of New York forever. The city buzzed on, unaware that one man had just stepped off the beaten path. Unaware that one man had chosen to be different. Unaware that Alex Carter's story had just begun, but soon, everyone would know. Freedom always sounds beautiful, until it's yours to carry. When Alex Carter walked away from his job, he thought the hardest part was over. No more gray suits, no more lifeless meetings, no more silent prison walls of his office cubicle. For the first time in years, he felt alive. But freedom wasn't light. It was heavy, and it came with a price. The next morning, the city looked different. The same skyscrapers rose high, the same streets overflowed with people, but to Alex, New York no longer felt like home. It felt like an opponent. Every billboard flashing success stories seemed to mock him. Every stranger in a suit reminded him of what he had walked away from. Comic panel. Alex walking through Times Square, his figure small among the towering ads and bright screens. His shadow stretches behind him, long and uncertain. His savings were small. His rent was high. And New York was not kind to dreamers. Alex wanted to live as an artist, to draw the world as he saw it, bold and different, full of color in a city drowning in gray. He spent his days sketching in coffee shops, nights searching for galleries that might give him a chance, but the city was ruthless, not what we're looking for. Too risky. Too different. Try something more commercial. The rejections piled up like storm clouds. Panel. Close-up of a gallery owner handing back Alex's portfolio, face bored. Alex's shoulders slumped, his artwork slipping from his hands onto the floor, panels scattered like broken glass. Each no cut deeper than the last. Weeks passed. His small apartment grew colder, emptier. The fridge carried little more than bread and water. Sometimes, he skipped meals just to stretch his money a little longer. At night, Alex would stare at the ceiling, exhaustion heavy on his chest. Fear whispered to him in the dark. You've made a mistake. You'll never make it. Go back. Get a job. Be safe again. Panel. Alex lying on his bed, one hand covering his eyes, his sketchbook open beside him with half-finished drawings. A shadowy thought bubble looms above his head, filled with cruel words: failure. Broke. Fool. But then, in those quiet hours, another voice would rise, faint, but unshakable. If greatness came easy, everyone would have it. Remember why you left. Remember why you dared to be different. And with that whisper, Alex would sit up, open his sketchbook, and draw. Panel. His hand sketching furiously under a dim lamp, bold lines cutting across the page. Sweat on his forehead, eyes burning with determination. The word dare scribbled in large letters across the page like a comic sound effect. Still, the world pushed harder. One evening, after yet another rejection, Alex wandered through the rain-soaked streets of Manhattan. Neon lights reflected in puddles, cars hissed by, and the city seemed to laugh at him. He felt invisible, like a ghost drifting among the living, but then, something caught his eye. In a small alleyway, half hidden between two buildings, a group of young street artists were painting a massive mural. Bold colors exploded across the brick wall, fire, wings, faces screaming with life. It wasn't polished. It wasn't safe. But it was raw, fearless, unforgettable. Alex stopped, mesmerized. Panel. A double-page spread of the mural, wild and vibrant, the street artists climbing ladders and spraying paint, their clothes messy, their eyes alive. Alex stands in the corner, wide-eyed, clutching his sketchbook. In that moment, he realized something powerful. He didn't need permission to create. He didn't need galleries, critics, or approval from the same people who lived in fear of being different. What he needed was courage. What he needed was to fight back, not against the city, but against his own doubt. Narrator. Bold, cinematic freedom is never given. It is taken. And in the heart of New York, Alex Carter was about to learn that the greatest battles are fought within. The rain poured harder, but Alex smiled for the first time in weeks. He opened his sketchbook under the storm and began to draw, pages soaking wet, lines running wild. And in that alley, with strangers who dared to be bold, Alex found a glimpse of the fire he thought he had lost. The city hadn't broken him yet. The story was just getting started.